Hello Capricorn, welcome to your April reading here with me, Joey Morris, the Starry-Eyed Hedge Witch. We're going to be using the Green Witch Oracle today. We're going to be having a look at what your plant spirit ally is for the month of April. What have you got in store? What's some of that goodness that can be helped with a little hedge witchcraft? If you want to hear more about hedge witchcraft and the spirits of plants, we do this every month over on Patreon, and you can see details at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's pull your card. Oh, Capricorn, 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 Capricorn. Attraction. You have Pansy. So Pansy is actually in the air section. The Green Witch Oracle, as you can probably see from the symbols and on the symbols at the back of the cards, splits up the plant spirits into elements: earth, air, fire and water, and this is the first card in the air section. The quote here is interesting. In gardens, beauty is a byproduct. The main business is sex or death. Interesting. The oracle meaning is as follows. Pansies indicate you are being pulled into your life with people who align well with you. Romance may be on the agenda. But this energy also helps build community and friendship circles, possibly where learning takes place. It is time to step back and relax into what is happening naturally. Hesitation and overthinking could cause blockages, and watch out for personal deception and gossip. Associated with memory, meditation, kindness, resonance, and weather magic, the pansy is associated with the astrological sign of Libra as well as Saturn. I will point out that there is going to be a full moon in Libra this month, Capricorn. So just be aware of the energies behind that. You can hear more about that on my channel if you so wish on Patreon, but it is probably going to impact you quite hardcore. So let's have a talk about the magical properties of your plant spirit for a minute. In Roman mythology, the viola turned to love in idleness when Eros mistakenly struck it with one of his arrows, causing it to smile. In Greek mythology, Zeus created the flower as a way to repent for his treatment of his lover Io. Once a beautiful maiden, Hera became jealous, and Zeus turned her into a cow. In another legend, Cupid worshipped the heart's flowers. To stop this, Aphrodite turned them from white to tricoloured. Pansies and violets are associated with Venus, often used as a love ingredient. Placing some under your pillow is said to attract a new lover. Planting them in a heart shape is a bit of sympathetic magic. If they thrive, so too will your relationship. They are also associated with Pluto, death and rebirth. Picking the herb on a sunny day is said to cause a storm to come. Picking one that's dewy can bring death. Whew. Pansies come in a variety of colours, and this lends well to colour magic. Each colour, of course, has its own magical attributes. For example, the yellow ones could be used for mental abilities, divinity, happiness, travel. Medically, it has been used to treat asthma, inflammatory lung conditions, and cardiac complaints. Externally, it is used for skin problems like eczema. Consider this, and considering how many other herbs medicine use to mirror their magical ones, it's not really surprising that it's a herb of love and death. I've always found pansies to be quite cheerful, that they have this kind of lovely energy of an upbeatness. I feel like this month, Capricorn, it could well and very easily be your month for attraction. It could very easily be your month for romantic entanglement. There's a number of things happening astrologically through the month which really lend to it. Venus and Mars going through Pisces and around that kind of Aries energy can actually really get things moving. And eventually later in the month, of course, we move into Taurus, which has a much more deep, earthy, sensual vibe that a lot of earth signs really resonate with. I'm an earth sign myself, I'm Virgo, but I really do enjoy Aries energy. So when we are looking at what really works for you, the energy of the month is kind of gearing into you attract what you are. Now, I don't fully believe in that because sometimes the universe does not give us the energy about which we are at. Sometimes we are forced through lessons and difficulties. But this is a cheerful little plant spirit which reminds you of the small joys in life, to take a breath, to take a moment, to enjoy it, to not overthink things through to such a degree that you are missing out on the joy. There's a lot of energy around this month about Mercury, and actually Pluto will go into retrograde this month, so it's interesting that you have this energy before that begins. The Pluto retrograde is going to kind of be the little nudge to get things done that you have promised to do if you haven't done them. So have you been promising yourself to go on a date? Have you been promising yourself a little bit more self-love? Have you been promising yourself to just give that relationship a go, give it a try and see where it ends up? And maybe you've been wrapping yourself up too much in other things, in work or whatever it might be. This is a readjustment, or it feels like a readjustment to me energetically. A lot of Capricorns might have sort of heard the kind of love magic side of things and been like, ugh, and just kind of felt that was a little bit too whimsical, a little bit too up in the air. This is an air card, bearing in mind. Not grounded or rooted or real enough. And if you had that reaction, it's kind of a shadow reaction and you need to have a look at it. Have you been allowing yourself to have small moments of joy and fun? What attracts you in all situations? It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partnership, but it can be. And it can also be a relationship that already exists if you are making the effort for both in yourself and for other people. Capricorns likely are going the extra mile for other people, but are you balancing that with yourself? There really is a kind of push-pull behind the energy here a little bit to remind you that you are worthy of being treated like a loved one, like a beloved. You are worthwhile. And if something attracts you, maybe you should allow that peak in interest to move you. Like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic. You could be attracted to a way of life, a different job, a piece of art. And you might think that it's too frivolous in that moment, but perhaps, just perhaps, it isn't. And perhaps you ought to give yourself that moment to really enjoy what you're attracted to. So that kind of feels like where we're at in order of this beautiful flower. But I do want to encourage you to really deepen the connection of love to yourself this month, Capricorn. It's also I kind of want to cover this actually. I want to cover the fact that it's used in rain magic and weather magic. And you're like, okay, well, what's that got to do with attraction, Joey? Well, rain magic is usually cleansing, purification, and rebirth in those Pluto energies, right? This might be a really good time to do a little work on yourself, little shadow work, to really cleanse out some of those patterns that you've got of holding yourself back when connecting to people. Not allowing yourself to shine, not allowing yourself to speak deep, beautiful, poetic truths because you feel a bit silly in that moment. Have a good look at that this month, my darlings. If you would like to hear more on a weekly basis, Patreon has a weekly card reading to help you get the energies aligned from week to week. There's going to be a lot of shifts and changes coming to Patreon next month, and we're actually covering them Oregon. So there's going to be a lot more freedom and time that I can spend devoted to the gorgeousness that is Patreon, and I feel like you will get so much more out of it going forward. Why not come check it out if you enjoyed this video? Many blessings, my darlings, and I'll talk to you all very soon.